This is week 5 of us building our van's RV-9 Empennage. As you can see, I am removing some of the blue vinyl so that we can get ready to dimple the skin for our horizontal stabilizer.
Kind of working on both the left and right side skins at the same time. And we're using our DRDT2 dimpler, easier with the two-person operation so that we can hold the skin open, line up the holes, and dimple each hole at the same time. And there are quite a few holes.
We're trying different methods to see what's the easiest and best method to be able to dimple the skin, as there are so many holes. We want to be able to do it quickly and efficiently.
And along the edge, it's easier to use the pneumatic squeezer with the dimple dies to just quickly run through the edges. And it looks like we took a break and then started on the other side. Yep, pneumatic squeezer all along the edge.
This is also EAA's Home Builder Week, and so we were watching some of the classes while we were dimpling the skins. That's why we keep setting up the phone so we can watch the class as we're working. After a short break where Sam went to the hardware store and I went to go visit my dad, we're back at it, finishing up the dimples of the skin with our pop dimplers. And we put the skin into the jig and start riveting together the spar.
Yeah, we have the front and rear spar assembly, and we had already deburred everything and cleaned up the lightning holes in the edges. Now we're actually putting it together to rivet the doubler plates on. And I'm pretty impressed at how well all of our tools are working for us now. The squeezers, the new yokes from Clemson Aeronautics. Seems like with the right tool, you can really do anything. Spreading the workbenches apart made it really easy for us to get the tools in to fasten the doubler plates. And I think pretty soon you'll see us doing the ribs. It looks like some of the when we had to put the brackets on, you see Kelsey had the rivet gun, so the squeezer wouldn't fit in all areas, so we did have to manually rivet gun and buck some of the larger rivets that were behind the brackets.
We were just clecoing together the rear spar as we just finished the front spar. And now we're on to the second day of the week, and we are getting ready to rivet the rear spar together so that we can start working on putting everything together, the whole assembly.
Yep, all of it's pretty much the repeat of the forward spar. Doubler, the left and right spar all coming together using the larger rivets. There we are setting up the phone so that we can capture some of the work with our new tools.
We're really pleased with how our Clemson Aeronautic yokes are working. They have a longeron, is that how it's, what is it?
Longeron.
So it has a nice lip to be able to fit over top of some of the edges that we're working with the spars.
And also the Clemson Aeronautics no-hole 4-inch flat yoke has really come in handy doing the ribs on the edges and the sides, and where you have tight spots where you can't really fit in two dies, you just use the one flat side. So now we're making progress. We're putting the skin in, we put the nose ribs in, and the nose ribs on the center, they have to be bucked. And I'm reaching in, holding the bucking bar while Kelsey's on the outside with the rivet gun. And now is the moment of truth where we put in the forward spar. And so I don't run out of time, I'll start talking about some of the issues we ran into, and you'll see we had to do some rework. But when we put the forward spar in, then we put all the clecos in, and everything looked like it was going as planned. But I noticed that there was a visible gap between the skin and that forward spar. So this is the first time that I really had to countersink the spar. Again, most of the time we're dimpling, the skin's dimpled, but where the skin goes into the spar, it had to be countersunk. I countersunk it to the exact depth of the rivet head, and after reading the instructions again, it turns out that you really need to countersink about 7 thousandths deeper. So that's why the skin and its dimple was not sitting flush with the spar, because the countersink in the spar wasn't deep enough. So we had to take a few of the rivets out, pull the front spar out, and then you'll see here shortly that we're taking the front spar out, and I'll be spending time re-countersinking all those holes again to a little bit deeper depth.
Yeah.
I don't think we found the problem yet, but you'll see us scratching our heads, looking at the plans over and over again, probably looking at some YouTube videos, and then realizing, you know what, we have to drill out the rivets so that we can remove the spar and rework the spar.
That's pretty much where we are now. Is we're looking at it, and we're just now realizing we have to drill out the rivets to pull it out.
And fortunately, it was only 3 blind rivets and 3 solid rivets that was holding the spar into the nose ribs. That's all the farther we'd gotten.
There was actually one additional rivet. We put one into the side of the skin just to make sure, see if maybe it would pull it together, and it really didn't.
Yeah,
we really had made a mistake there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did do one as a test, and it didn't close the gap. I guess the good news is we're getting better at drilling out rivets, and really notice that drilling out a rivet on the skin, the smaller number 3 rivets, really come out easy. Not that we want to do a lot, but it was good practice. And so I'm looking here, and it looks like we've pulled the spar out. We're making sure, now that we're deburring the holes where we pulled out the rivets. And I'm sitting down, and here we go. I'm gonna be walking down each one. That's not a motorized stool, that's me kind of pushing myself, but walking down each one. We tested it, we put it back in at the top to make sure we do have the right depth. I think we did that once or twice.
Yep.
And I went ahead and did both the forward and rear spar as I was set up. While I was doing that, Kelsey, I guess, as my penance for not reading the instructions and countersinking, I took the instructions home and really read all the basic instructions again. It's probably a 10-page document that previous night. So while I'm countersinking, Kelsey's over reading the document again, so we're both in sync. And it's interesting how if you read something 2 or 3 times, you always learn something a little bit new, just based on where you are in the project.
And so now we're back to putting the spar in, now that we have made sure that the spar is countersunk enough and it fits perfectly into the skin and there's no gaps. We're really happy with it, and so we are back to getting it in place and getting ready to rivet everything for the final time.
Right. And here's a little funny note. We recorded putting one of the rivets into this section with, I learned after doing the left side on the right side, so I don't scuff the spar a little bit. I put some painter's tape down, very interesting. We made a little video, and it got a lot of views on us riveting the skin and a lot of comments.
We're about ready to finish up our day. Holding tight to finish up the rivets of this left side until next week, because our week is short this week. So we're putting in just a few, maybe 10 or 12 rivets into the side of the skin to make sure everything's fitting perfectly. Sam's reaching his hand in while I have the bucking bar, or the rivet gun. And yeah, happy week 5.